Hey drivers, how you doing? Okay, so yes, view browser window. We're going to the content browser. We need some more material now over this side. Yeah, we've built up this side here. It's looking nice. To be honest, I mean, I like what we're doing here. So what we could do with is putting this fire escape over here, and by doing that, what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to create a kind of gantry that will allow us to go overhead on this. But if I'm being sneaky, I can stop the player accessing it. So it's all good. So if I change the width on this to, say, zero point 0.6, oops, wrong one, hang on, I always get these things mixed up. There we go. That gives us a much tighter rail. You may remember actually, I don't think we have used these before in this one. So give us something fun to talk to each other about, won't it? Okay, and now if I just hold Alt, obviously I can duplicate it. And again, just Alt, duplicate, like so. Now I'm going to want to put something like this here. Okay, and this is a supporting beam that's going to hold up the parts that go on top of it. So what I might do is remove this for the moment. I can always add a new one in if I want to, and bring this back instead and across to round about here. Okay, so we've got this going across into the wall round about there, just so we can make sure that these two kind of connect together properly the way I want to. Now this staircase at the moment isn't quite what I need, but it will be, so I'm going to bring this back, and then if I hold down Alt, okay, so as you can see it's now kind of marrying up to this piece a bit, and you can see that this here will need to be a bit lower down. So let's see how high up it's going to be when I add one more riser to it. It's going to be very high up. Zoom in a bit here. Let's seal these together. There we go. Alright, so we've got quite a staircase here. What I can do is I can embed some of it actually inside of our mesh. So this one's going to kind of hang over the top there. Alright. Now then, this is a little bit large actually. I would prefer to scale it down to about 0.6. There, that's a more sensible size for me. And by doing that, I can actually get rid of some of these. I don't really want the full height on this, I just want some of the height. There we are. Now if I have these just hanging underneath like that, I can then pull them out completely, just to the point where the part starts to intersect with the floor. There we go. Okay, so with that done, then all I have to do is just drag that to there. I'm going to give it an overall scale of 0.6, like that. Just drop that down to there. Now obviously that's changed them all, so I'll just change it back to 1. Change this one to 0.6 instead. It's going to be a chance to see where they are and why they're not connecting to each other properly. Zero point 0.6 should be round about the right size, you see. There we go, so that will go up to there, and as you see it's kind of hanging on top of this, so we can use this to just embed into it, like that. Alt and drag to there. Let's get it to come all the way across, like that. Okay, and that gives us this kind of raised staircase unit here. Now what I want to do is just bring it all just back a little bit. So select all of these. Okay, and we'll just move this across to round about here. Okay, so you can kind of sneak past it if you really want to. And I think I'd quite like to bring it a bit more this way as well. It kind of opens up the space a little bit more over here. And remember how I kind of opened out this area here. So what I could do is I could close off the area by using these fences, or I could use another BSP. I think I'll use another BSP because it gives me a lot more range really for what I want without using a lot of resources. So I'm going to come down here, and we've got a nice big wall area here that I'm working on, so go to geometry mode. Just going to grab these here, just pull them up a bit more. Now I'm going to grab the other verts once my system stopped being silly anyway. That's better. My mouse got stuck for a moment there, which was really annoying. Wrong bit. There we go. Alright, pull that across to round about there, so it's just joining that part. And then again, this part selected, doing a marquee. We don't want a heavily thick part here, just to round about there. Okay, and then we can just do that. And as you can see, it's filled in. Alright, and what I'm going to do now is just go into texture mode. Okay, and I can obviously apply my textures to this. I've got a really stiff neck at the moment, so I apologise if I'm making crunching sounds. That's just my neck. Right, and drag this down, find a suitable material we can use. There'll be something knocking around here. There's a metallic surface, that might do it, but we're sticking with concrete. We don't really want wood slats. So let's find a nice concrete. That's a tree. That's some dirt. Rock. I like rock. That'd do. What was that? That's terrain. I'm well aware you can read for yourselves, by the way. You are big, I'm sure. I don't mean that in a bad way. We could literally make this into a normal looking wall look. Select this. And as you can see, it makes it into a normal looking wall. Which is kind of nice. But I think I'm going to go for the plain concrete effect rather than having that. Because it fits in with everything else really. And I mean, even though we're kind of rushing this together, you consider that this is going to be like the one you're going to tweak, isn't it? It's quite nice. Kind of works. Just make sure there's no gaps underneath it. Okay, let's see, I'll just drag it to all the sides. We don't need to, but I'm going to anyway. There we go. Nearly there we go. Don't forget, of course, you can drag this to any of the textures on here anyway. Let's move this out of the way again. Off you go. And pull that across. Right. So now we can make sure that these are kind of lined up the way we want. Not you. I'm wearing quite a big headset, this weird Chinese thing that I got, and when I wear it I can't hear a flipping thing because it's got these really massive comfortable ear pads. Okay, I'm going to change this, just turn it off, that way I can align this properly. There we go, now I can turn it back on again. Alright, so this now goes all the way up to here. Now, what's up here that's so damned important? Why have they built this with all these weird gantries up here? Remember, it's all about set dressing. So we're trying to decide what is making this into a sensible looking thing rather than a non-sensible looking thing. Incidentally, if we look here, this isn't lining up. Let's just make that line up. There we go. Probably moved it by accident a while ago without realising. Okay, so let's have a look over here. And I think we've got some space for probably quite a big tank. Probably one like these. So let's just bring this over. But instead of having it this size with the danger this thing will explode going on it, we could scale it up and put it over here and surround it with some more stuff. So let's increase it. Say about 3 times bigger. How big does that make it? Well, flipping huge, I think you'll decide. We don't want it being cut into, as you can see. That's exactly what's happening at the moment because it's a little bit too big. Let's make it 2.6. There we go. That seems like an eminently sensible size by comparison. And it's not being cut into, which is good. And up here we have this, which is going to be ideal because we can stick things on it. So, if I just go into my brush build again, sorry, my browser window again, brush build, jeez. I'm going to go for a static mesh, turn off the main material, find something that's going to work for me. Got an itch there, there we go. So, click and drag that. Before I do that, let's turn back on the snap. Don't forget, if you want to use hotkeys, you can. Why are you not using hotkeys, Chris? Well, okay. I find it very difficult actually remembering hotkeys. If I've been using 3ds Max for ages, I'll not remember the hotkeys on this. If I've been using this for ages, I'll not remember the hotkeys in 3ds Max. And so on, and so on, and so on. You get the general point. Okay, so let's add this on. Just onto there. And you can presumably see where we're going with this. If you can't, then I assume you didn't watch any of the previous parts. There we go. That will eventually go on there, but I want to turn it around first. There we go. Just put that in there. Now what I'm going to do is move this with an Alt. Oops, wrong button. There we go. And bring this down. And in. There we go, that kind of fits okay. And then what I can do is go down here and just click and drag that. And yes, by the way, I can also scale it down to a -1, which will do the same sort of thing. The only reason I'm not doing it is because I don't really want to. Okay. So that gives us this, and you can just keep on going down, so Alt. And again. There we go, like that. And just kind of sink straight into the side there. Okay, so that still has this part blocked off, but now we have a slightly more interesting part going on here. Plus we have an area that you can jump down or shoot off or whatever. And it, whilst it adds to the game, it doesn't really add that much, which is good, because we don't really want too much going on. We could probably add something underneath here. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Now these are the gas tank controls. So we could stick these onto it. Kind of sticks through slightly like that. As you see, it comes through the other end as well. I think that doesn't really go. See if there's anything else that we can find that might. Probably put this panel here. Like that. We're not going to put a statue up, that would be silly. And then over here we've got an I-beam. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the I-beam just to basically add a kind of gantry support. Okay, so just kind of think to yourself, well, how's this made? I don't like it when things hover like this, okay? If you're going to climb up it, gantry like this, then you'd expect it really to wobble when you go across it, and it's not going to. It's going to be dynamic unless you do some real code magic with it. So I prefer if it wobbles a bit. Right, make this about 1.4. There we go. Slightly bigger, you see. Now I just want it to intersect slightly on here. There. Not a lot, just a little bit, so they're literally touching each other. And then I'm going to bring this across to around about here, like so. Okay, that gives us that shape there. And now if I take this, just Alt and lift. Okay, it's a little bit long, so we should reduce the length. That's not the right one. It's that one. It's the kind of thing that would have been bodged together, you see, by some bloke or other, or even some lady working in the engineering department. Just a simple way of stopping them falling off. There we are. Okay, that's fine. Now we've got quite a lot of regularity going on with these steps. Remember I said I'd look at that too. So if we go into texture alignment mode, what we can do is actually move the textures around like this, just to get rid of some of the more regular patterns that you're seeing in here. See that one? There's two there, so I'll just move that off to there. Okay, just get rid of some of the definite identical patterning that's kind of coming in here. Let's see if we can get rid of that one. I can scale it a little bit, which will help as well. There we go. Alright, that's better. So let's look at see what's happened now. We've got this rather nice staircase. Kind of heads off here, leading to the gas tank, which is now overlooking that part there. So that's quite a lot that we've got done.